It's a pleasure to have you join us on News Express. A new kind of political influence is quietly reshaping Nigeria's electoral landscape, and it is not coming from campaign rallies, television debates, or traditional party structures. Instead, it is traveling through phone calls, through WhatsApp messages, through voice notes, and money transfers sent from thousands of kilometers away. Across villages, towns, and rural communities, conversations about politics are increasingly being influenced by Nigerians living abroad, creating what many observers now describe as a growing phone home. Political effect ahead of the 2027 election. For decades, the Nigerian diaspora has played an important economic role through remittance that support families, businesses, education, healthcare, and local development. Millions of naira flow into communities every year from relatives living in Europe, Northern America, the Middle East, and other parts of Africa. In many households, these remittances are not just financial support. They are lifelines that sustain daily survival and improve social standing within local communities. But what is now becoming increasingly visible is that the financial connections are also creating political influence. In many rural areas, relatives abroad are no longer simply sending money home. They are also sending political opinions, campaign arguments, voting advice, and strong views about the direction of the country. A son working in London, a daughter studying in Canada, or a brother living in Germany may now hold significant influence over how entire families interpret political events back home. Their voices often carry weight because they are perceived as more exposed to global systems, governance standards, and economic realities. This influence is becoming especially important because rural voting remains a major force in Nigerian elections. While social media often dominates national political conversations, a large portion of actual voting strength still lies within communities where family influence, trust networks, and local relationships play a decisive role. In such environments, recommendations from respected relatives abroad can significantly shape perceptions about candidates and political parties. The process is often subtle rather than organized. It may begin with a simple phone call discussing economic hardship, governance failures, or the future of the country. It may continue through WhatsApp groups where political videos, speeches, and campaign materials are constantly shared. Over time, these conversations accumulate, gradually influencing how people think about elections and leadership choices. Another reason this influence matters is because many diaspora Nigerians remain emotionally and financially invested in the country's future. Even while living abroad, they continue supporting families, building homes, funding local projects, and maintaining strong community ties. This connection often creates a deep sense of political investment, especially during election periods when many feel the outcome can directly affect the stability and opportunities available to their relatives back home. Technology has amplify this influence dramatically. In previous decades, communication between diaspora communities and rural villages was limited and expensive. But today, smartphones and messaging platforms allow constant real-time interaction. Political discussions that once remained confined to urban centers can now spread rapidly into remote communities through family networks alone. The rise of issue-based politics is also contributing to this trend. Many diaspora Nigerians closely follow discussions about governance, about corruption, about insecurity, about economic policy, and democratic accountability. When they engage with relatives back home, these issues often become central topics of conversation. In some cases, diaspora voices are helping shift political discussions away from traditional loyalties and towards broader debates about governance, performance, and national direction. But political actors themselves are beginning to recognize this changing dynamic. Campaigns increasingly target diaspora communities, understanding that influence abroad can translate into influence at home. Politicians now engage diaspora audiences through online town halls, interviews, and digital outreach because they recognize that these communities often serve as informal political messengers within their local networks. At the same time, the growing political role of the diaspora also raises important questions. Critics often argue that individuals living outside the country do not directly experience the daily realities faced by citizens on the ground and therefore should not overly influence local political decisions. Others counter that diaspora Nigerians contribute harmoniously to the economic and remain deeply connected to the country's future, giving them every right to participate actively in political conversations. There is also concern about misinformation. Just as political influence can travel quickly through digital platforms, so can unverified claims, emotional narratives, and politically biased content. In tightly connected family networks, information shared by trusted relatives abroad may be accepted without much scrutiny, increasing the risk that political opinions are shaped by incomplete or misleading narratives. Despite these concerns, the reality is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. The Nigerian diaspora is evolving from an economic force into a political communication network capable of shaping perceptions at the grassroots level. This influence may not always be visible in official campaign structures, but it is steadily becoming part of how political ideas circulated ahead of elections. The broader significance of this development lies in what it reveals about modern Nigerian politics. Elections are no longer shaped only by rallies, billboards, and traditional endorsements. They are increasingly influenced by digital communication, family trust networks, and global connections that allow political narratives to move across borders instantly. As the 2027 election approaches, this phone home effect is likely to become even more significant. Economic hardship, governance debates, and political realignments are already intensifying discussions across families and communities. Diaspora voices will certainly continue playing a role in those conversations, especially in areas where remittance relationships create strong emotional and financial influence. What makes this phenomenon particularly powerful is that it operates quietly. There is no official campaign banners announcing it, no public structures organizing it, and no central leadership controlling it. Yet, through thousands of calls, through thousands of messages, and family discussions, political influence continues moving from abroad into villages and communities across Nigeria. Because in modern politics, influence no longer depends only on physical presence. Sometimes, the most powerful campaign message is the one delivered through a late-night phone call from someone thousands of miles away. For more updates and in-depth analysis, stay with us on News Express. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am Cassie Tony, and many thanks for watching.